I will start with one of my favorite quotes from the Catechism. Deep within his conscience, man discovers a law that he has not laid upon himself, but which he must obey. Its voice, ever calling him to love and to do what is good and to avoid evil, sounds in his heart at the right moment. For man has in his heart a law inscribed by God. His conscience is man's most secret core and his sanctuary. There he is alone with God, whose voice echoes in his depths. When we talk about law, and the first reading from Deuteronomy talked about law, we think about something imposed without. And how do we feel like when laws are imposed? You're not the boss of me, right? Don't do that. But what we're looking at is we call the natural law. St. Paul talks about this in Romans 1. We see it in the Old Testament. We have it in the Ten Commandments. There is, made in the image and likeness of God, a way, an ordering that is how our intellect and will work. Think about this. You ever have a discussion? This is usually me and my father. My father and I, he will say something and we'll talk about a topic, and he's an evangelical and I'm a Catholic now, and he'll ask me questions, and we kind of like to go like this. I'm the firstborn, right? Fathers and sons sometimes do that. And I'll realize, wait, we're actually saying the same thing, right? We want to get to the truth of the conversation. You ever feel like somebody's just not understanding you and you want to help them understand what you're really trying to say? Or maybe you can't remember that proper, this happens to me a lot, the proper noun. I know the name of that person or that thing. Now we can use AI to help us look it up, right? It sounds like, looks like, it's like charades on the internet, okay? So we're ordered towards truth, universal truth and particular truths as well. That's the intellect. The will. The will is what we do with that truth. We act upon the truth that we know. The will is always ordered towards the good as it is perceived. So we want to pursue higher truths, so our will is ordered to the highest goods. So we want to attain to in our families and our marriages, right? But we can also be motivated to pursue that which our mind can get muddled and confused. We rationalize. Sin enters in and we're not thinking straight. So this appears to be a good thing. If you take all of the list of the 7 deadly sins, each one of those, if we enter into those, we've thought that this might be a good in that moment. Even addictive behavior. It seems like a good. It's like the best I can achieve right now. Just to show that's built into us. Truth and the good. And we say these are attributes of God. He is truth. He is good. He's love. He is true being. All those the transcendental truths. So this inner law is part of reason. If we think about these 10 commandments, put God first. Well, that is not a bad thing if God is really good. Do not bow down before idols made from human hands. What are those things? There are things that attract us. They are lesser goods, but do they satisfy? Doom scrolling, right? Dopamine hit after dopamine hit does not actually satisfy. Do not take the name of the Lord of God in vain. He's my Father. The gift of piety says, I want you to honor my Father. Don't misuse his name. Observe the Sabbath, a day of rest. Is anybody the worse off if we take that day to go out and walk in the wet grass or go to the park, go to Stillhouse Hollow, and come back and get back to work the next day? The 360 view begins to enlarge. Tunnel vision tends to go away. We have a new perspective. The rest is good. Honor your father and mother. You shall not kill. In other words, we should not take innocent life. Should not commit adultery. Is that a good way to build a household or a family? No, it's not. Do not steal. That's mine. Well, then we learn it all belongs to God, and I can choose to share it. Do not bear false witness. Have you ever been falsely accused? How does that feel? It's not a good experience. Do not covet your neighbor's wife, house, or things. Again, envy, coveting does not lead us to freedom. When we run up against these commands, we want to rationalize, we want to find a way of getting around them, but ultimately it doesn't work. Think about those who have followed this law. We recognize they're trustworthy. They're honoring a higher power. And so we realize maybe their lives are not ordered according to what just feels good in the moment or even what is going to give them the best advantage. I think I want to be around people like that. We learn that when our lives are ordered this way, I don't hear this person gossiping, so maybe when I'm not in the room, they won't say something about me. Maybe they're trustworthy. I can begin to develop deeper intimacy and relationship with that person. We become people who model God's type of love that sticks to what is honorable and makes sacrifices for others in good and bad times, and we become free. One of my favorite Facebook reels recently the caption was, "I hate it when my husband brags about our wealth." And it shows a guy on the beach in his swim trunks, and one by one, 7 children come up and surround him. Wealth. I love it. How does God see our world today? This is where we get to the gospel. I think he looks at the world like Jesus conveys the parable of the Good Samaritan. We can begin to see how God sees what is going on. All those characters who did not stop had an excuse or a reason why. And he asks us to begin to look at the person in front of us. Notice the pain, the need, what's wrong, what's not right. But instead of going and writing about it, instead of TikToking, look what I found along the side of the road, or holding a town hall meeting about how dangerous the road to Jericho is, which might be an important town hall meeting, or staging a protest, he would engage with the individual. See, listen, and engage. The Good Samaritan binds up the wounds of the traveler and does not ask him, "Why were you on this road? You should not have been doing that." He says, "I'm here to help you recover." Natural law provides the framework for living in freedom, the scaffolding. Divine positive law helps us know how to do this. We call these the works of mercy. They're in the Catechism, 2447. You can look them up. Spiritual works: instruct, advise, console, comfort, forgive, and bear wrongs patiently. Good works of mercy. Corporal works: feed the hungry, shelter the homeless, clothe the naked, visit the sick and imprisoned, and bury the dead. So if we want to be like God in our world in real time, here and now, we become practitioners of these spiritual and corporal works of mercy. We don't actually need to ask if they're good to do or not. We simply realize God says, do these things, and we find opportunities to do them. So we become more like God, and we pay attention to what is going on right around us and engage. Are you looking for something more this week? Maybe you're feeling restless and discontent today. Maybe there's something that's weighing you down. I propose the quickest way to overcome that state of mind is to engage in a work of mercy. Find Christ in those around you this week. He is there. He's there waiting for us to engage. I wrote of this in my pastor's corner this week, my encounter with the homeless in Austin. Sometimes I'd be in a hurry to get back to the pastoral center, and the homeless lived right next to me in a house. They came and went. Some lived in the backyard. And then at the intersection, you find them a lot. I've got the collar on. They can see me through the window. It's a little awkward. What do? I need to stop, right? Roll down the window. Hey, I need $7 to pay my hotel room tonight. It was always $7. Often I would say, well, I'm not able to do that right now. What is your name? Can I say a prayer for you? Or if I had time, or if I were at a store or a supermarket, I would say, what do you like? What can I get you? And invariably, they would give me a list of things, quick things, a meal to go buy. What about going to work this week? Notice a coworker, hi, how you doing? We don't get the usual response. Can we circle back and say, hey, how you doing? How are things going? Anything I can pray for you today? We can begin to notice others wherever we go, and we can also silence that notification, okay? I mentioned to the 12:30 Mass last week about phone etiquette. We ask you, and I've heard it 2 different things this Mass. I'm serious when we make that announcement at the beginning of Mass to check if your phone is on silent. This is one of the most holy hours of the week. I don't want to hear any more notifications this Mass, okay? Thank you. How else can we help? St. Joseph Social Ministry. Do you know back here at Catholic Charities, we have Gabriel Parenting Project, which accompanies parents for 3 years after the birth of their child. We're currently helping dozens of couples who need help, supplies, diapers, parenting programs. Some of these spiritual works of mercy were instructing, advising, comforting Last night, one of our altar servers is one of our catechists as well. I said, "What's it like being a catechist?" From over here, he said, "It's awesome." Maybe you like children and you'd like to help instruct them, but you don't feel up to being a catechist. Well, we need those who are in the classroom with our catechists. We need catechist aides. We have a bereavement team. Some take communion to the homebound, and I love going out to visit our homebound because they are our parish, but now in a different phase of life. Then I get to greet those of you who are part of our parish who are at home at the back, but Father Roberto and I can go out and visit you in the home. Ushers also extend our hospitality. Also, I learned from some social ministers a while back, it's helpful to keep a pair of clean socks in the car. Who does not like a pair of clean, fresh socks, especially in this kind of weather? Easy things to hand out. Vienna sausage. Holy cards. Holy cards in the office. Sometimes it's the right moment to say, I'm going to say a prayer for you this week. What can I pray for? I promise you, God will bring someone new into your world this week, or help you to see someone in a new way, because God is at work. Jesus invites us through this parable to see the world as he does. And all we have to do is look up, listen, and engage. So if you're looking for a lift, a fresh start, and a bit of increased purpose, serve someone this week. Bite your tongue when you want to gossip or detract, and bless instead. Roll down the window at the intersection if you feel safe to do so, and ask for a name. Many ways that we can engage in works of mercy. To grow in true human freedom begins in that interior space that I mentioned at the beginning, the conscience. We must wrestle with our consciences. God's truth comes to us through natural law and also the divine positive law. The church helps us form our consciences, and we often wrestle with that. But it's important to spend time in that interior space so God's truth and love can penetrate our own best thinking. We find peace of mind when we become truly docile, and we guard this peace and grow in freedom when we serve others. Want to lift this week? See, hear, and engage. Christ will meet you where you meet him in others.